Hey, how's everybody doing today? Can you all hear me all right? I think I got my microphone turned on now. I think I got, looks like about 30 seconds until we're supposed to go live, but I figure we'll go ahead and hop on here anyway. Hey Steve, how are you, buddy? Good to have you here from the other side of the pond. Did we schedule this early enough for you? That was the idea of doing this at noon my time, was so that you'd be able to hop on here. You and plenty of other folks that are over there as well. So looks like we got 5 people on here right now. That's a good start. Hopefully we'll get some more, but in case you haven't figured it out, based on what you're looking at on the screen, we're going to be flying the Carenado Embraer Phenom 300 today. And we'll be flying from Denver up to Aspen, and that is a cool looking plane, isn't it? Hey Shaker, you're there. Excellent. Hey, just so everybody knows, my man Shaker MT there, let me tell you, this guy's awesome. He's a fantastic individual, good friend of mine. He was kind enough to donate a yoke to me quite a while back, a yoke and throttle from SciTech, and that'll take us right into actually our first surprise of today's show. The other day, he bought this for me. I mean, now that's just, wow. I was blown away by that. I really was. So, I can't thank you enough, Shaker. Shout out to you, my friend. That is just what an amazing gift, in my opinion. Active Sky 2016. You all know we've been using Active Sky 2012 for quite some time. I did not purchase Active Sky Next. So when this came out, I certainly was looking at it, but of course it's not cheap. And my friend Shaker there, he sent me a message on Facebook and he said, hey, Active Sky 16 just came out. You want it? Well, of course I do, I said. And so here it is. Let me close that little window out there. So we've got not only Active Sky 2016, but also ASCA, which is Active Sky Cloud something or other. I forget what it actually stands for. Hey, World Cruiser, good to have you aboard, my friend. We were just talking about Active Sky 2016 here. This is the Cloud Active Sky Cloud something or other. I forget what it stands for. But it's my understanding that this sort of replaces soft clouds with new cloud themes, and I'm using this type here, this full dynamics function on this. And if you notice, when we first hopped in, the screen was the sky was blank, and of course now we've got our clouds up there. So let's pull up Active Sky here, and we're not going to go through a whole lot of this right now. But just know, now I never dealt with Active Sky Next, so I don't really know how the interface is on that. But I know that the interface for this one is not too different than it was for Active Sky 2012. It's different, but it's not confusingly different. So obviously, if we want a flight plan, we can put a flight plan in here, or we can load one, which we'll do once we've taken care of a flight plan via PFPX, which we'll be doing here shortly. I specifically had a request or two for conducting the flight planning through there, so we're definitely going to be doing that. But this is the one thing I'm curious about here, and maybe if you guys know, you can tell me. The X gauge, you can install it through here, and I know it's a weather gauge and it's supposed to show you the weather. The only reason I held off on installing it is because you have the option of either choosing which aircraft it's installed for, or just having it installed for all of them. And I held off because I wasn't sure if, like my PMDG aircraft and stuff, if it would cause problems with those. So I haven't installed that yet, but something to think about. It also has this really cool scenarios thing, and I'm really hoping that eventually they're going to add to these. So if we look here, let's take severe icing as an example. So you load up the aircraft, either a twin turboprop or a CRJ 700. That's their recommendation, and you get yourself set up on the initial approach into the terminal area, 200 knots clean into Chicago O'Hare. And then once you've done that, you start the scenario, and this is what you need to do, is you need to hold it, loose it for 5 minutes at 10,000 feet, then descend at 8,000 feet, and continue holding for another 5 minutes before landing at Chicago. And you can see here there's some information from a a couple outside resources. But the idea here is this is an icing scenario, and it's the way I understand it is whether your aircraft supports icing or not, Active Sky 2016 is going to provide icing, and you're going to have to take appropriate action. I'm not sure how that works out, but I'd certainly like to see that what's the word I'm looking for here? I'd like to see them not only improve upon that, but add to those. You know, things, wake turbulence. Not sure how well that'll work out. It was the wake turbulence, turns out, that were causing a lot of my issues with aircraft trying to, you know, do a nosedive to the left or right on short final. So wake turbulence and FSX don't typically go together very well, so it's something to keep in mind. You've got all your options in here, general options, clouds, all of that stuff. I've got it all cranked up as high as I can get it. Hopefully it won't cause any problems with frame rates today. But in the meantime, why don't we go ahead and dive in. We've got a relatively short flight today. Let me just shrink this down for now. Relatively short flight today up to Aspen. I do have Orbix add-on, and I have they have a free version of the Aspen airport. So if you haven't gotten it yet, I highly recommend that you do. Orbix has a large number of free airports all around the world, and their free airports are very well done, so it's something to keep in mind. And obviously we've got Flightbeam Denver as we fly out of Denver International today. And we've parked over at the general aviation parking area, and I guess the only thing to do at this point is to start digging in. Now, oh, I almost forgot about this. I did set up the webcam. Do you guys want to see my mug on the webcam? I imagine everybody does. Are the cloud graphics better with Active Sky 16 versus 12? Yeah, they're definitely better. Now, for Active Sky 2012, I was using Rex Soft Clouds. So I don't know if the cloud graphics for this are better than soft clouds. I haven't had a lot of time to mess with it. I actually just got it this morning, thanks to Shakers. So we'll see how that works out. And there you have the camera. That's me. Hi. There we go. Hi. My wife insists that you guys would want to see me here on camera, so there you have it. That's me. Not much to look at, but that's okay. So I want to show you how we're going to do a couple things here. This is actually an advantage to having the webcam. We're going to talk a little bit more about flight planning today. Since we have a short flight, it's not going to be a very long live stream, maybe. We all know that I talk a lot. But I want to show you how we're gonna set things up here. Obviously, we have to plan our flight. But the first thing that I think you should do, if you want to add to the realism, and that's kind of the emphasis of everything we do in the life of a virtual airline pilot, life of a virtual cargo pilot, and so on. It's all about trying to increase that realism, and that's why we have add-ons like Active Sky. We want to increase the realism via our weather and all of that stuff. So that being said, if you're interested in adding to your realism, one of the things I learned when I was taking the courses for my pilot's license was that you are required by law, actually, and I'm sure it's the same in Europe as it is in the United States, you're required by law to have as much information or know as much as you possibly can about your airport, your departure airport, your arrival airport, your alternate airports, airports in between, the weather conditions at both airports, the weather conditions en route, the whole 9 yards. Now, it's when you do it in a sim, it could be a little easier or a little harder depending on how you look at it. In the real world, you know, you pull all your weather, you either write it down or you get a printout or something like that, and then you take that with you, and that's what you use. But in the sim, sometimes things change at weird intervals and stuff like that, so it can be a little funky in here. But here's what I do to start out with, and I did this a little bit different today. Normally I just go right down the list here, but I did them side by side, and I just try to, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it there. So you can see I wrote Denver and KDEN and KASE, and this is where we're going to put the pertinent information for our flight. And so to do that, the first thing we need to do is come down here and pop up our PFPX. Now, before I dive into this, I'm just going to take a look at the comments and see if anybody had anything to say. What's frightening? I look like your nephew and that's frightening? Okay, well, good to know. Let's see here. Steve says that's frightening. I think what Steve's really saying is it's frightening looking at my face on this camera. Let's see. You have yours set up as Active Sky 16 plus ASCA plus soft clouds. Well, I never turned my soft clouds off, so I'm assuming that that's still active, but I haven't really messed with it. Maybe you could tell me, Shaker, if there was something I should have done to change that. In the meantime, let's dive in here now. A couple of you specifically asked that I go over the flight planning again, and it's my intent in these live streams to continually include the flight planning as much as possible. So if you remember from the last live stream, I set up my PFPX a little bit different than some people do as far as the aircraft are concerned. We're going to leave MEC as the airline, even though technically it doesn't show up as the airline that I want it to, Mirage Executive Charters. That's all right. We're still going to leave it as that. We're going to use our typical flight number of 2336. Now, just so you know, even when I'm in a different window, as soon as I hit the number 2, it's going to initiate the automatic camera position of my easy dock. So that awesome view we had, let's close this for a second. Take one more look, because that view will be gone when we come back. So just keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and add the flight here. It'll be flight number 2336. Maybe you saw the shift in the background of the camera there. And we're going to fly from Denver to KASE, and who knows where our camera will be when we get back to it. Today's date, obviously, what is the time right now? It is 1911 Zulu. So, yep, we'll leave that as the departure time. That should get us out of here on time. We'll save that. There we go, and now we need to plan it, of course. And as you can see, it's not a very long flight. That's all right, because we're going to be plenty busy doing other stuff anyway. Now the aircraft database. Now here's the deal. I have a Phenom in here. Where is she at? That's the Hawker I just did. Just as a side note, what do you guys think of that? For those of you who had a chance to see it, what do you think of that tutorial on the Hawker? That was a chore, let me tell you. There's my Phenom. Now you can see I named it the Embraer 500, but this is for the Phenom 100. Okay, there is no 300 in here. I don't really have the time to make a profile, and I didn't really search to see if somebody did a proper profile for the Phenom 300. So we know that some of the information is going to be off in here. Okay, this is by no means the proper way to do it. Obviously, when we talk about realism, we talk about doing things real world. This would not be what you would want to do. You would not want to use a planning profile that doesn't match the aircraft you're flying. That being said, more than anything, it's going to be an issue of fuel for us. And so what we're going to do is we're going to increase the fuel. And I haven't had any problems doing that so far, but I probably should look. And if anybody knows where there's a Phenom 300 profile, by all means, let me know. Glad you like the tutorial, World Cruiser. Yeah, the plane was, you know, it's, don't misunderstand me. Okay, I'm really grateful. The plane was gifted to me, and I thought that was just really an amazing thing. I'm always humbled when people do things like that. That being said, it also, after really spending quite a bit of time with that aircraft and that in-depth tutorial, I would have to say that I'm glad I didn't spend the $50 on it. And for any of you who have not done so yet and are thinking about it, well, you know what I would say? If you're looking for a little private jet, this is probably your guy right here. This thing's actually pretty darn good. Now, it's got plenty of quirks too, because it's Carenado and it's got their typical G1000 in it, which I'm not a fan of at all, and you'll see why. I won't even mess with it that much because it has so many little glitches in it. But anyway, moving on. Did I miss any comments over here? Jumped on to say hi, but I'm at work. Good job on the videos and streams. Busman, thank you for jumping on. I sure do appreciate it. I'm sorry that you won't be able to stay, but I will be uploading this to YouTube just like I did last time, so hopefully you'll get a chance to check it out on there. And let's see. I'm just looking at comments here real quick. Shaker, I got your little private message over there. I'll address that. We'll address that offline, but I appreciate it. So, okay, again, if you know where there's maybe an Embraer Phenom 300 profile for PFPX, by all means, please let me know. But in the meantime, we're going to use this one, and we're gonna overcome the deficiency there as best we can by increasing our fuel and understanding that the weights and stuff like that are going to be off anyway. Alright, so we'll apply that one. There we go. And then we'll just throw a random payload in there and find a route. There we go, pretty straightforward. Now the big thing on this is going to be the Rocky 2. Okay, that's going to be our departure, and we're going to have to look for that on our charts over here, Navigraph charts, and I'm just looking for it right now because sometimes it says one thing on here and then I come over here and I can't find it. And this might be one of those times. I'm not finding Rocky 2 as a listed departure for Denver. I've got Pikes 8. There we go. Rockies 2. Bam. And you'll see a little download window pop up here in a second. Start to download. Open that up. You'll see more than one thing here, and that's all right. We'll get to these. And so there's going to be our departure. Obviously, we'll cover that when the time comes. But I just grab it right now, or I could grab it later. It doesn't really matter. The point is obviously I'm going to need that. Find destination alternates. Away we go. And there's all our alternates there. And then you can look around for those if you want. Again, you should have as much information as possible. KEGE, for example, that's right over here. So if we had to divert, we know we could divert there. This would not be an alternate, but it would certainly be an airport we could look at if we had an emergency shortly after departure. And then what do you got? KGUC is, I just saw it way down here. That's Gunnison. I've been there before. Coincidentally, let me see if I can find it here. Something close anyway. San Luis, Durango. Yeah, it's not listed as an airport. So my hometown is basically right around in this general vicinity, I guess, would be about right. So that's where I'm from, in case anybody was wondering. I say in case you're wondering a lot, don't I? That's what you call a filler, filling in the space. Okay, there we go. We've got our alternates now. Let's compute the flight. And then we'll take the flight plan here, and I'll just move this off to the side here. Oh, look at that. We're looking at the sky. Let's hop into the aircraft there. And let me just copy and paste this. And come down here, grab a notepad, paste it on there. There we go. And that's all I'm doing is putting the flight plan on here so that we have access to it. We don't have to keep PFPX open. And then I'll release the flight on PFPX, and that's it. Now, all of that being said, because some of you specifically requested to go through PFPX, does anybody have any questions over PFPX and setting up flight plans? I hate driving through the hills. It makes trying to watch a Twitch channel. You're not supposed to watch TV while you're driving, Shaker. That's dangerous. Oh, goodness. What do I got over here? There we go. All right. Oops. There. Sorry, I'm messing around with something over here. Why won't it go away? I'm looking for questions from you guys while I'm messing around with my Twitch on my other computer here. Okay, so I haven't seen any questions pop up regarding PFPX. And I think sitting here jabbering on and goofing off for 5 minutes should be more than enough time for you guys to come up with questions, right? So I had to refresh the page so all the previous comments just went away. So if you happen to post a question on there, by all means post it again. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and close out PFPX now. Shut that down. We do have our flight plan here now. It says the release fuel at 786. Okay, we're literally going to triple that for this airplane because I don't actually have any clue how much fuel we're supposed to have on here. All right, so let me zoom that camera out just a little bit, by the way. There you go. That way every time I lean forward, my head doesn't get so big. So yeah, we're gonna triple that. So let's just call it an even 800. So we're gonna go with 2,400 pounds of fuel. All right. So now that we've got our flight plan here, you know what? I did forget to do something actually. Now I got to pop PFPX back up. This is what happens. See, when I'm making videos, it's much easier to do this because, you know, I just take care of it and then record when I'm done taking care of everything, right? Oops. What do I use for recording and editing? Okay, so to record my videos, other than when I'm doing a Twitch live stream, because Twitch records it for me. You may have noticed when I uploaded that to YouTube, the sound was like, me talking was pretty loud. The sound was a little odd. But what I actually normally use is shadow play. So if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, then shadow play is actually built right in. And I'll show you that here in a second. Let me go back over to PFPX though. What I forgot to do is I forgot to export this. And I need to export it over to FSX so that I can load it in Active Sky, right? So there we go. And there's no Carenado on here, so there's no saving it like that. And Carenado doesn't load flight plans that way anyhow. So, am I going to do one of those famous Southwest taxis? Well, I won't be taxiing at V1, I can tell you that. All right, so recording, to answer World Cruiser, to answer your question, so to record, and I've got it right here, and I'll just pop it up, and then I'll close it out. If you have an NVIDIA graphics card, then look for the GeForce Experience application on your computer. It's there somewhere because it's automatically there with the graphics card. You may need to update it, but go into there and then click on Shadow Play. Pops this little box up here. You can turn it on and off right there. I have it set for manual mode, which means I press Alt F9 to start recording and then press it again to stop recording. And then you click on the little cogwheel here and you can change the location where it saves those videos at. You can change keyboard shortcuts as well if you want. And that's what I use to record. Now this little thing, I put this here, little green thing pops up in the lower corner here and shows me that I'm recording. Okay, it doesn't show up on the recording itself, but there you go. So this is what I use to record my videos, shadow play. And the reason I use this, I used to use, oh, what's the name of it? I tried Bandicam once, didn't like it, had nothing but problems with Bandicam. And then what's the other one? It's pretty popular. I forget the name of it, but anyway, it was a killer on my frame rates. I even paid for I got the paid version of it, and it was just rough on my frame rates. Turns out, Shadow Play is free. If you have an NVIDIA graphics card, Shadow Play is included. It's automatic, so you don't have to pay for it. But also because it's actually an integral program to your graphics. Oh, I got a hiccup there. It's integral to your graphics card, and since it's integral or integrated in your graphics card, it has an absolute zero hit on your frame rate. So Shadow Play is the way to go if you have an NVIDIA graphics card. If you don't have an NVIDIA graphics card, I would highly recommend you get an NVIDIA graphics card. I'm just saying, they're just better graphics cards. So that's what I use to record my videos. And then I don't have it on the list down here, but I use Cyberlink PowerDirector 14 to edit my videos. It's very easy to edit. It's, as far as editing software goes, it's definitely on the cheap side. The editing, I think when it's not on sale, it's $300 or $400, something like that. Whereas the next closest thing is like $600 or $700. But you can find it on sale all the time. When I got it on sale, I got it as an upgrade from version 13. I had version 13, and I got it as an upgrade for $75. And I went to 14, and I went to the super duper ultra whatever mode that gives you basically all the options that are available with Cyberlink, and that's what I use to edit my videos. It's actually really easy to use, and if you guys would like, you know, what I'll do is I'll create a little comment thread at the bottom of this one when I upload it to YouTube, and I'll let you guys vote on it. If you'd like, I'll do a live stream where I show you how to edit how I edit my videos. And what I'll do is one of my Life of Virtual Airline Pilot videos or something like that, I'll come up here and I'll live stream the editing process for that video. If that's something you guys would like to see, let me know. Fraps is what I was thinking about. There you go, World Cruiser. And if you don't have an NVIDIA graphics card, my friend, let me tell you, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. NVIDIA just came out with the 1080. Everybody knows that, right? It's like a 1070 and a 1080, and this thing is out of this world. Okay, now I'm not a guru or a genius when it comes to this stuff, but I happen to know a thing or two about NVIDIA, and I'm going to tell you right now that 1080 is going to blow your mind. But that 1080 will cost you $700–800 right now, and that's a lot of money. That being said, You can get a 980 or a 780 Ti right now for about $150, $200, okay, or even a 740 Ti for 150 or 200 bucks, and those are fantastic. I run a GTX 980. It's not even a Ti. It's just a GTX 980 is what I run on here right now, and I've got two GTX 740s. One's a Ti and one's a regular, and another motherboard that I'm going to put in a different computer, and then eventually in this computer right here I'm going to add a 980 Ti. Now when I stack them together, it'll run like two 980s because it'll default to the lower one. But the point I'm getting at is, if you don't have an NVIDIA graphics card, you can go back, like I said, to the 740, 780, even the 980, and they're substantially cheaper right now. Okay, just make sure you get one, whoever made it, get one that has really good cooling on it. All right, and what that'll do is, it's going to blow you away. I mean, they're fantastic graphics cards, and you'll have shadow play built right in. So there you have it. And I think, okay, so let's get back on track here, otherwise we're going to be here all night, right? So let's hop down here, let's pull our Active Sky back up, and now we've got our flight plan saved in there. So we click on flight plan, and then we'll click load right here, and I've already routed it to my FSX files. Now when I tried to load this the first time, I forget where it went. It went to some random place, but it's all I did was just navigate to here, and now it pops up here automatically. That's the flight plan we just created, so we're going to open that. And unlike Active Sky 2012, we don't have to do anything else. We don't have to refresh it or anything like that. Now, it's my understanding, I could be wrong, I haven't had a lot of time to mess around with this. I don't know why that's saying, I guess we had it at flight level 250, I didn't pay attention. We're going to fly at 200, by the way, in which you can see right up, my mouse disappeared, right there. It tells you we're going to be at flight level 200. These things here, by the way, top and bottom, and the camera over here, they're overlays, so I don't actually see these on my screen. I have to actually look at my XSplit broadcaster and try to guess where my mouse goes to get those there. But anyway, so it tells us our current wind direction, wind speed, and so on. We don't have to actually pull a weather report, which is, you know, to me is a massive difference between Active Sky 2012 and 16, because in 2012 I can only pull one airport at a time. Here I can just go right to flight plan. So if I'm here under conditions, all right, current conditions at aircraft position, that's fantastic. I can grab that at any time. But if I want to know what it's going to be at Aspen, I just click on there, and that's what's going on at Aspen right now. The wind is all zeros at 3 knots, and there's only one runway you land on in Aspen. So that's just the way it's going to be, and we'll see why that is here in a little bit. But it also gives us our weather, top, climb, top of descent, and it didn't add any waypoints in there, and that's probably having to do with FSX not having those waypoints. So there's our weather. We're good to go on that. We can pull up a map if we want, and you can see the weather, and you can change what shows up on here. I don't know what keeps popping up there. What is that? Ah, there we go. So when you hold the mouse over it, you get a little pop up there. It gives you your current METAR. That's at KASE. So if you don't know how to read a METAR, and if I move this, it disappears. So just looking up on top here, where it is at the top, that's the METAR. Okay, so KASE is the airport. It's the 19th at 1853 Zulu. That's what those numbers there mean. It's a corrected weather report. That's what COR means, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. Pretty sure it's corrected. The winds are variable at 3 knots, 10 statute miles visibility, clouds scattered at 10,000. The temperature is 21 degrees Celsius. The dew point is 12 degrees Celsius. The altimeter is 3048. And then RMK means remarks, and Alpha 02 is a particular type of weather broadcasting station. And then sea level pressure, and I forget what TO 2060117 means, but there you go. That for the most part, there's your METAR there. The little green areas here, these are a visibility thing. So obviously the visibility is much better in these scattered cloud areas than they are here, and it's good that hopefully this visibility will hold out at KASE, because that's a pretty difficult approach in there. You can toggle the winds. This tells you which way the winds are going. All right. And you can even do a forecast. So we'll figure it's going to be a couple hours before we get there, right? So let's just say 2 hours, just because I talk a lot. And so you toggle this, and you can see the wind is going to be blowing this way. This is the forecast. It's forecasting the wind to be blown basically due north. And that little, that short little flag there, that's what it's called, a flag. That short little flag means it's going to be about 5 knots. If you look over here, the large flag I believe is 10 knots, and then the short one being 5, so that would be 15 knots. I am not good with these types of weather charts, and I need to learn them because I'm going to be studying for my instrument rating here pretty soon. But there you go. So there's our weather. Jump back over to flight plan, and we're good to go there. Hold on a second. I need to get a drink here. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay, so we can either shrink this down to this little menu here, whatever this thing's called, or we can just shrink it down to the menu bar, which is where I'm going to put it. And so we're good to go there, which means we're ready to kick this off. Now I want to introduce you guys to an interesting concept here, and I wish that I had set that to the other side. So first of all, let's just take a look. This is the Phenom 300, and if you've ever seen any pictures of this thing in the real world too, because this is a very new aircraft. This hasn't been out very long. This is a nice looking little airplane, man. I mean, this thing looks nice, and I would absolutely love to fly one of these in the real world, wouldn't you? But anyway, so you can see we obviously have the glass cockpit layout with the G1000, which I find a little interesting considering. And now I don't know, I haven't really done any research on the Phenom 300, but G1000, believe it or not, is severely outdated at this point. I'm not talking about Carenados, I'm talking about period. G1000 is a severely outdated avionics system. They're up to, what are they on? What is Garmin on? I don't remember. We got any comments over here I missed? Oh, let's see. That would be great. You talking about watching me editing a video, Shaker? That'd be a good time. I wouldn't mind doing that. It does take a while. It's a long process to edit those videos. So your budget's $20. What is OBS up here? Avilis? I'm gonna call you Juan. Juan, what is the OBS? What are you talking about? Let's see. Yeah, no problem, World Cruiser. Glad I could get the information to you, and definitely look into it. Definitely do. And you could probably even find a used. So you know, people are buying that GTX 1080. So I can pretty much promise you that you're going to be able to find used 980s, and I think they have an 880 even. You'll be able to find those used for probably $50 to $100. So, well, they do have 880s because Shaker's got dual 880s in his laptop. Busted by the boss. If he's still there, tell your boss I said hi, and don't take it. Don't get too upset with you. I have what's called an infectious personality. Open broadcaster software. What is that, Juan? Is that a are you talking for live streaming? I think that's a particular brand of live stream software. Is it not? I use XSplit. It's free. It's easy to use. You know, and I can set it up. So these little these overlays here, I had to build these myself. I use I use Paint Shop Pro actually. Is it Paint Shop Pro? Yeah, I think it's Paint Shop Pro, and that lets me build these. And you have to build them and make sure there's no background on them and stuff like that. So when I overlay them, they don't actually show anything. So that's where those come from. But anyway, let's jump back into this here. Okay, so click right up here. Well, maybe. I think I have it paused actually. There we go. Let's unpause it. So you click right up here and the yokes will go away. They don't really get in the way of flying, but they definitely get in the way during startup. Now I'm going to introduce you to a concept here. This is something I've never done before, at least not in a video or a live stream or anything like that. This is not something you guys have ever seen me do. But you have heard me talk about flows versus checklists, right? So you've got your checklist, and the idea is that you actually go through all your flows, and once you think you've got everything done, then you go back to your checklist and you go down the checklist and make sure that you actually covered everything. And what I'm going to do here today is I'm actually going to do a full startup of this aircraft using just flows, and then I've got the checklist printed out here, which, contrary to the most recent Carenado product that I did the tutorial on, at least the checklists are decent on this one. So I will go to the checklist, but not until we're basically just about ready to pull out. That being said, my brain just completely went blank. I like just completely blank. The other thing that I found, the first time I hopped into this aircraft, I didn't even look at the documentation. Didn't even open it up. Didn't even try to find where it was located. Didn't bother. Okay. What I did is I climbed in the aircraft, and based off of my basic knowledge from flying a bunch of different aircraft on the simulator, I went through a startup procedure, and I was able to start and fly this aircraft without doing really anything, or without, well, not without doing anything, without looking at any documentation. Okay, so that's kind of how we're going to go about this today. That being said, I don't think there's an APU on this, but we do have ground power. So we're going to start right over here. Batteries 1 and 2 are going to come on, and immediately you see that ground power is available. So we're going to click it, and we're going to turn on the ground power so that we can go through our other pre-flight stuff and be ready to go. So when we push back, we'll be all set up, and then we can just start engines and we'll be rolling, because it's got a line AHRS and all that.
HTOS test OK.
HTOS test OK. And then if we come over here, you can see you've got some information here, checklist file, thank you, which there is a checklist built into this, and we're going to use that, but again, I'm going to use that, and I'm going to use the paper version that I have right here. Okay, but we're going to go through everything first and get it figured, see what we can do on our own first. Okay, the nav expires 30 March 2016. I think I tried to update this. This might be one of those where you have to buy an additional thing to update the nav. And let me tell you, I have an issue with that. That's crap. You pay money for an aircraft, and then they want you to buy an add-on, and I'm pretty sure that's the case with this one. They want you to buy an add-on to be able to update the nav information, right? You know what? I'm going to go over here right now. And the view's going to hop around, sorry. Carenado. I spelled it wrong. There we go. Jump that view back up. And let's go to products. I'm doing this on the other screen over here, by the way. FSX, where are you at? That's the citation, 850. They do have a lot of products. It almost seems like they're a little more interested in cranking them out as quick as they can, and they do tend to look really nice, but some of the functionality is just crud. Did I bypass it already? Where are we at? I must have bypassed it. So I'm looking on Carenado's website right now, because I'm pretty sure that's the issue with this one, and that's why the nav database isn't up to date. And this actually ticks me off. This is ridiculous. That's a citation. Yep, here it is. Oh, that's for the 100. Where's the Phenom? There it is. Okay. All right, let me show you this page here. So here's the Phenom 300. This is what we have right here. It's what we're flying right now. It's $40. $40. But if you want to be able to update it with Navigraph, you got to spend an additional $10. And they put it on here with this big old bright logo like they're doing you a favor. That's ridiculous. That really ticks me off. That, as I like to say at home, that really butters my biscuits. That's just ridiculous. Why should I pay extra money for that? That should just be included. Anyway, enough about that. So we click any button over here, and that takes us up to our nav display over there, and we're good to go. So we've got power on the aircraft, and the only thing I want to do here, I want to take care of fuel. So let's go up here and go aircraft, fuel and payload, change fuel, and we said we wanted 2,400 pounds, right? So you can see that's about a half load of fuel on this, so we probably don't need that much, but that's what we're going to go with. Let's see what that gives us there. So 2,700, let's take down just a little more. I'm just doing it by the percentage, or I could just put the proper numbers in over here and we'd be fine. Come on, 45. There we go. 2430, that's going to be good. So there we go. There's our fuel. We're not messing with the payload on this thing. We should be good to go on that. Okay, so fuel's loaded. You see the aircraft shifts a little bit. That's good. That means the fuel's taken care of. Another thing I like to do, I'm going to start my FS recorder so that we could do cinematics if we want later on. That's now going. We don't have to do anything with that. If you guys ever want me to show you a little more about the FS recorder, let me know, and we'll do it. What do we got over here? Hold on. Here's your first cough of the day. Busted by the boss. That's still funny. Okay, hold on. That's what happens when I talk a lot. Yeah, for recording live streams. Yeah, I haven't tried open broadcast software. I've been using the XSplit, and that's been working out pretty good. Maybe the APU is behind the captain's seat. Let's see. That'd be funny. No, I don't think so. No APU here. Behind the captain's seat. It took me a while to find that too. It took me a while to find that. And we just covered World Cruiser, the issue as far as updating in Navigraph. So there's that. Biz jets of this size or the Beach Premier do not come with an APU. Typically, I don't think they do. Business jets, usually small jets, don't have an APU. It's just more weight, and they don't really need it. They usually just do a ground start. So let's see. How's the FPS in this? I don't know how it would be in VR, Tom, but I can tell you that the FPS for me is pretty good. You guys won't be able to see this on the stream because of this little thing right here. But right now, I'm getting, at Denver, which is a pretty intense scenery, as you can see off in the distance there, I'm getting average of about 22 frames per second, which isn't too bad, and that'll increase, of course, once we depart out of here. Anything else down here? Counter at a small FBO, and we always use GPUs for Beach Premiers and King Airs if they ask. Well, if you're working at an FBO, chick, your boss shouldn't mind at all that you're watching a live stream on stuff having to do with flight, right? World Cruiser, I use Navigraph. It's fantastic for everything. Unfortunately, just in this particular instance, you don't get to use it in this aircraft. And I think that sucks, but it is what it is. Okay, we need to press on so that we don't take too long because we've already been at this for a little bit here. Okay, so we've got power on the aircraft. We should have our flight plan loaded in there now, right? So let's pop this up here. Click up at the top there. There it is. And then if we go to flight plan, there's nothing in there. Why? Doesn't make any sense to me. Oh no, wait a minute, I'm an idiot. We didn't load the flight plan yet, we did the fuel. Okay, so this is a weird thing about Carenado is, so you can't save the flight plan to a specific file format, but if you go in here to flights, and go to, you gotta go to flight planner, don't go to load, that's gonna load a flight. Go to flight planner, and then load, and then we'll pick the flight we just set up. And don't click find route, and don't let it move your aircraft. Just okay and then no. And now our flight plan's in there, and it's just showing us as direct on here. Okay, now here's the deal. We built in a come on, brain function, a SID, a standard instrument departure, right? Yeah, we got a SID in there. So how do we put that in? Well, if we come over here, we're on flight plan. First of all, it is an absolute pain to get this thing to move where you want it, to get which knob to move. Okay, let's put this back down here and let's zoom down here where we have 3D view anyway. So there's two knobs here, alright? So if I scroll to that one there, and then what I want to do is I go to procedure. Actually, let's go back up to Denver. Come on. See, now it won't go back up. Come on. I hate this thing. No. You see why this is such a pain. Cancel. Now go back up to Denver. See, it won't, there we go. For crying out loud. Now go to procedure, right? It's not letting me do anything. I'm clicking on the procedure button. So let's pop this guy up down here. What is it? Shift 3? Yep, there we go. And let's see if it lets us do it on here. I've messed with this a little bit before, but here, let's put it over there. Okay, procedure. Still not doing anything. We're on flight plan, right? Okay, let's turn that off. Go to procedure. Okay, now we'll use this knob because this one, you can't, it's so hard to find the inner knob using the 2D version. We don't want an approach, we want a departure. So, yeah. Where's my departures at? Okay, let's do something different then. Let's see now flight plan's popping up in the background. Clear this. See, I hate this thing. Now this is what happened to me last time. Okay, and I walked myself right into it because I forgot about it. Once you pop this page up, it is impossible to get rid of it. It's there forever. Oh, now it's gone. Eureka. Okay, let's go to flight plan here. No, I don't want to remove it for the 20th time. Actually, the second time, but you get the point. Go to cancel. Come on. You can see. Twist the knob. Try this one. It's for crying out loud. You know, did they even bug test this thing? I don't want to remove it. It's not doing anything. Oh, you're killing me here. Okay. Now, go to the next one. Come on. See, now it won't go down to KASE. Does anybody have any idea why this thing is so retarded? I'm at the shipper, so I need to step out and do some real work. Okay, you have fun, Shaker. I'm going to sit here and goof off. Yeah, live broadcasts are so much fun. This thing's retarded. Now look, all of a sudden it's way down here. While I was talking, it jumped down here. Okay, KASE. Now I want to put in a different waypoint, right? So let me pop up my flight plan over here and see if it'll let me. Actually, it's the Rocky 2, so what I need to do is I need to pop up this guy. I'm going to put it over here for a second. Okay, so we're taking Rocky 2 to where? I need them both now. To DBL. Which doesn't even show up on there. So we're going to take it to EKR. We'll do that. So we need to go to Zimmer, Z-I-M-M-R, right? Okay, so let's try putting that in. Z... Nothing. Nothing. Okay, we're going to fly direct. I'm done screwing with it. I'm done messing with it. I'm done. That's it. I'm done. I'm not messing with this thing. Clear that off. No. Clear. Go away. Go away. Flight plan off. Okay, we're flying direct, folks. We're flying direct. I'm not messing with this. This is ridiculous, okay? Does anybody disagree with me? That's just retarded. This is supposed to be such a simple thing to use, and it's an absolute nightmare. Okay, I looked up tutorials on a real-world G1000, and, you know, it functions. It's not difficult. It's not hard to figure out. This thing, complete nightmare. I hate it. I absolutely hate the frickin' G1000 in this thing. It's junk. You can set all the departures. Yeah, Chimero, is that how you say it? Chimero? Yeah, that's what I was just trying to do there. It won't even let me put a waypoint in. And I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I'm not screwing around with it right now. We're going to be here all stinking day. And it's just, ugh. I hate this thing. I love the aircraft. I hate this thing. I just don't like it. It's nothing but trouble in my opinion. Okay. So, that being said, what we do want to do is let's go ahead and put in our altitude here. Now, you can see when I hold it over there, it says right-click for 100 or 1,000 increment mode. So right now we're on 1,000, and that'll work. So just scroll it up, and I'll take it up to 21,000. And then if I right-click it, I can go down in 100-foot increments, right? And then you would right-click it again to go back to 1,000. So there you go. At least that works properly. I'm not going to set the speed yet. Usually I'll scroll it up a little bit, but we're going to... well, actually, yeah, I'm going to set it. I want to climb at 225 knots, and this thing is just one knot at a time. There's no there's no clicking it. If I click it, if you right-click it, it goes back to 0. So don't right-click it unless you want to scroll through the thing again. All right, 220. That should work for our flight change mode, which is right above it. Of course, when we head out, we'll see what happens with that. Okay, so we got our basics set up here, right? We can turn flight director on. That's fine. We'll leave the flight director on. We're in roll and pitch mode right now because we haven't selected anything over here, so we should be good on that. And let's go ahead and I didn't actually pay attention to it. Why is this still open down here? Closed. That was me setting up. Oh, for crying out loud! Now it won't let me close it out. No, close. That was me building these things. I don't know why it's still open. I thought I closed it. Where is my weather? Here's my weather. Okay. So, back to our flight planning here. Denver, the wind is 280 at 6 knots. Alright. And then right now, it's all zeros and 3 knots and Aspen. And we'll pull it again in a little while. It should refresh automatically, I think. One of the things I like right here is it also gives us the altitude of the airport. So 7,800 feet is the altitude for Aspen's airport. So that's something to keep in mind. So 280 at 6 knots. There's our weather. We're going to be flying direct, so we don't really need to do anything else, which sort of defeats my whole purpose of trying to show you this right here. You know, hey, oh, here's how we set it up. But ideally on this page right here, what you would do is, you know, you would put the altitude restrictions for your SID and stuff like that so that you have them for quick reference. Or you could have your chart off to the side over here on another screen like I typically do. And, excuse me. And you could take advantage of that, obviously, and just go it that way. So the point being is that when you plan your flight, you need to have as much information as you can. For example, do we know what the runways are in Aspen? We actually don't at the moment. I should know them, but I don't. And Aspen, I don't remember if it pops up on Navigraph charts or not. Let's find out. KASE. View's going to change here. There we go. It does. Fantastic. Let's jump back into a view that makes sense. Okay, so I'll just pull the airport ground chart for the moment. And this will just give me, right now all I'm doing is figuring out what the runways are. That's it. That's all I'm doing with Aspen right at the moment. Okay. So zoom this chart out just a little bit so you can see it. And it's runways 15 and 33. Okay. Now, if I'm not mistaken, runway 15 is the one that we're going to be landing on regardless of the wind, because there's a mountain over here and you'll see it when we come up. There's a mountain and we can't fly through the mountain. So we will be using runway 15, which means we're going to need, we don't need the SIDS, there are no stars, and visual roaring fork 15. Ooh, that should be fun. Let's fly the visual roaring fork. Oh, wait till you guys see this one. This will be fun. You'll like this. Here's what we're going to fly for our approach. Interesting, isn't it? Now, just so you know, all of the approach charts for Aspen go to runway 15. So what we're actually going to do is I'm going to try and hit red table out here. I may or may not program it into the radios. We'll have all this visual reference here of the rivers, but we're going to follow the riverbed in. Okay, and it says it's recommended that you fly it at 10,000 feet, so that's what we're going to be doing. That's not an approach brief per se, but there you have it. We shrink that down over there. Okay, so I think we're ready to go for our flight. Let me see if that... Well, there's that view again. Let me change that. They still got the... Why is this airplane right behind us? You can see our ground power is hooked up there. That is an ugly airplane. Look at that. That is a terrible model. That's absolutely terrible. What were they thinking? It's kind of funny this guy's right here because I just got a comment on the tutorial that I did. Somebody asking if I would do a tutorial on the Metroliner from Razbam. And this is a Metroliner right here for those of you who are unaware. It's not a very well modeled one, but it's a Metroliner. And I do have the Razbam Metroliner, and so I'm going to consider doing that that tutorial. But let's be clear, that is not an easy aircraft to learn and fly. So I'm going to have to spend some time trying to figure it out, because last time I tried to fly it, as soon as I got off the ground, the engines would both die, and I was not over revving them, so I don't know what was going on with that. They didn't catch on fire, they just died. They just shut down. Okay, so we're just going to push back a little bit here, but I need to take ground power off before I do that, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to conduct a start here, then we'll push back just a little bit, and then we'll pull forward and swing around, and hopefully we don't run into anything, right? I have crashes and damage turned off just in case. So again, using basically just common sense from having flown a bunch of different aircraft and understanding startup procedures and so on, we're going to go through this process right after I check to see if anybody's got anything pertinent to say over here. I'm glad you don't feel like a dummy world cruiser. I kind of do too. Let's see. We already tried that. In PFPX, you can file a flight plan which publishes all the waypoints so you can fly SIDS in default aircraft without trying to find all those waypoints. I haven't tried that before, Camaro. I'll have to try that out and see how that works. The VIP is running late. Who's the VIP? Oh, you're answering what... oh, I see. We should be thankful that we're not passengers in the terminal waiting to board. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Okay, we're going to get started here, I promise. Here we go. Okay, so using just basic common sense. We need our batteries to be on, right? Batteries are on right now, and we're on the GPU. Okay, we don't need the generators because the generators come from what? From the engines. But we will need the bleeds, and we can flip those to auto, and we can put the cross bleed to auto, and we should be good to go there. Alright, we don't need hydraulics yet because we don't have anything to pump them. Okay, but these are fuel pumps. Put those on auto, fuel pump 1 and 2, and then engine ignitions are down here. Put those on auto, and watch this. Start switches, right? Roll it to start, and bam, she's starting right up. That's how awesome I am. If I had a microphone I could drop, I'd drop it. Boom. Alright, so we'll let that engine start up, and then we'll push back with just the one engine started after we take the ground power off. So there you go. Let me turn the volume up a little bit. Do we have the parking brake on? We do not. Should probably set the parking brake. There we go. Now it won't go anywhere. Okay, that's stabilized now, so let's go ahead and turn the generator on. Put it to auto, turn the GPU off, and then we're going to try and push back without running into that airplane there. So Shift P, and we won't push back very far. I'll just hit the period key to take the parking brakes off, and hopefully we're not running into that airplane. He wasn't back there very far, was he? I just want to be far enough to make the turn there. Okay. Put the parking brake back on. Hopefully we're not parked inside that airplane right now. And let's take care of engine number 2. Battery's already on, the auto ignition is already on, and the fuel pump is already on auto there, so we're good to go there. We can turn hydraulic pump 2 on if we want. And let's flip the start switch for engine number 1. And she's spinning up now. Give it a minute here. VIP's on board now, Chimero. VIP's on board now. Oh, while that's spinning up, I'm going to put on my Track IR hat. It looks really cool. You should see all the shiny things. I'm wondering if one of my live streams will make the live stream fails of the week on YouTube because things aren't working right. It might. It might. Okay, wind being 280 while that's finishing up. Actually, it's already stabilized. So let's flip the generator on. Let's flip the hydraulics on. And then let's take a look here real quick at this guy. Okay, so we're over here at GA Park and we just pushed straight back. The wind is 280 at 6 knots. So we have a couple of options. All right, and that's wind coming this way, by the way. We could take runway 25 or 26 over here, which is a long taxi. In both instances, it's a very long taxi. Or we could do a crosswind departure on 35 left. I'm inclined to do the 35 left crosswind departure because otherwise we're going to spend 30 minutes taxiing over to either one of these. How's that sound to you guys? Oh, that's on. That's on. Windshield heat on. Ice protection 1 and 2. We probably don't need it right now. Let's turn it off. What is this? Windshield heat? Oh, wing stab. That's got to be on. That's on. Emergency light is not armed yet. It will be here momentarily though. Emergency light armed. Nav lights, strobe lights, taxi lights, and this is. Let's turn panel lights on. Bam, panel lights. I like panel lights. They look good. And what else do we need? Fire extinguishers are good there. Engines stay in the run position. Those ignitions stay in auto. This is the backup pitch mode. We don't need that. Trim is good. Flaps, we're going to do a flaps 1 takeoff. There's flaps 1. We got our actual trim setting here. Up or down. It's up to us. I think we're probably good. We're in the green, so we should be good to go on that. And what else do we need? What are these? Ground glide slope inhibit, we don't need that. Everything's on over here as it should be. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to go through our checklist. And I'm going to do it 2 different ways here. No, it's not X-Plane Red X-Meds. This is FSX. I've got the paper checklist here, but before we do that, I'm going to show you on here. This button right here is a checklist button, and I'll pop this up so you can actually see it. And you select group, hit enter. Maybe? Okay, let's select list then. Scroll it down with the FMS wheel. And we want normal procedures. Now hit enter. Okay, cockpit safety inspection is first, so hit enter on that, and then each time we cover one of these, we hit enter, and it turns green. So what I'm going to do is, instead of reading down this, well, I'll just read down this. That's fine. Let's do that. So emergency door locking pin, removed, emergency door secure and locked, documents, manuals, and charts are all on board. Maintenance status has been checked. Emergency equipment has been checked. Oxygen bottle valve handle, push to restore. It doesn't actually do anything. Supply control knob, PAX auto. Where's that at? Oh, I hate when my doesn't spin all the way around. I think I looked for that earlier and couldn't find it anyway. So, interestingly enough, though, the mask, you can turn the mask mic on over here, and you can turn a courtesy light on. Yay! Voice test. Nope. Okay, so we're gonna assume the oxygen's good to go. What's next? Oxygen mask regulator checked. Battery 1 and 2 switches. Well, they're on now because we got the thing running. Bus tie knob auto. That was this one here in the middle, by the way. Bus tie knob is this guy right here, right? Yep, bus tie knob, and it's in the middle. It's on auto. Okay. Gen 1 and 2 switches auto. We've already done that. GPU button as required, it's already off now. Bleed 1 and 2 on auto. Cross bleed on auto, it is. Test panel off. Circuit breakers, they're not actually functional in the aircraft. Left or fuel pump switches 1 and 2 both on. Cross feed knob is off, it's on now. Hydraulic pump 1 and 2 both open. ELT switch is armed, which it is. That's the red one down here. That's the emergency locator transmitter thingy-majigger. In case we crash, let's hope we don't. Push or cutout button, push out. This one right here, that's in, that's out. Okay. What is that saying? ECS off? Oh, environmental control system. Dirt, that's down over here. Yeah. Put that on both, and now it's on. Okay, there we go. Let's see, so pusher cutout's good. Gust lock pin, we don't actually do anything with that. Windshield 1 and 2 switches both off, which I think we turned them on now, didn't we? There are these ones here. Yeah, we turned them on. You should just have your windshield heat on. There's no reason not to. ADS probes knob is on auto. We've already done that. That's the one just to the right of those two switches there. Come on. Engine 1 and 2 switches, they're on now. Wing stab switch is off. Bleed 1 and 2 auto. Landing gear lever is down. Pressing mode switch. Is that pressurization mode switch? Yeah, that was pressurization mode switch over here. That's good now. ECS knob. Dump button. We've already done all this. This stuff's all done. Speed brake switch closed. Parking brake is set. Seats and belts good. Now, when we hit enter again, it'll go to the next checklist. And you can see these can take a little while. This is the power-up checklist. Batteries 1 and 2 switches both on. GPU button as required, and then CVDR panels checked. We're good on all those. QRH versions are the same. I don't even know what that means, to be honest with you. Oxygen mask flow and microphone checked. Test panel except SWPS and ICE. Okay, so test panel's over here. And that is all of these guys right here. So if we go all the way over here, that's the fire.
Fire.
Hit
Fire.
the test button. This is a smoke detector in the back.
Fire. Fire.
Announcements. That's just my little lights here. See the lights turning on? Okay. That's nothing. This one's the stall.
Stall. Stall.
And then it says not to do the ice. And the ice doesn't do anything anyway. I've tried it. Okay, tests are done. That's all of those. Seatbelt sign on. That's up here, right? Isn't it? Where's the seatbelt sign? I don't know where the seatbelt sign is. I think it's over here. Cabin altitude. That's air conditioning. Where's the seatbelt sign on this thing? You know, I don't think I ever turned the seatbelts on. Signs. It's got to be this one. Yep. There we go. Awesome. We having fun yet, guys? Any comments over here? Don't look like it. Doesn't look like FSX. No, I'm not on FS Cloud. Red. I was on there earlier, but it was messing with my EasyDock camera, so I just turned it off. It was being a pain in the butt. No, it doesn't really look like FSX, does it? But I've got a pretty good system, so it runs it pretty good. Alright, signs are good. External lights as required. We already have those on. Emergency light switch is armed. That's the one up over there. That's already done. Fuel quantity and balance has been checked. Let's see. Where's fuel at? It should be right here. Yeah, it's right in front of my face. 184, 184. That's the fuel flow. The fuel quantity is at 1190 both sides. I'd say that's pretty well balanced, right? Oxygen pressure for dispatch. Checked, sure. Engine ignition switches are already on auto. We've already started them. This is the before start checklist. So you see what I did is I went through everything, and then I'm coming back and looking at the checklist, and there you have them all. Alright, so I'm going to exit that for now instead of clicking through all of those. We've already done our startup, so let's go to the startup checklist. Come on. Before start. That's done. So we actually need our after start checklist. Alright, so GPU disconnected. We disconnected it before starting, or right after starting the one engine and then pushed back, so we're good on that. Electric emergency button, push in. I don't know, where's the electric emergency button? I don't know, anybody know where the electric emergency button is? I didn't see anything like that. Maybe it's GPU. Oh, there it is. It's in. It won't let me even do anything with it. There we go. Okay, so that's out. We don't want that. We want it like that. Okay. Batteries 1 and 2 voltage checked. Voltage I believe is on here, yeah. So 28 volts a piece, we're good on those. Each battery voltage must be at least 23.5 volts. That's what it says here on the checklist. Oh, you know what? That's for, looks like that's for a little check. Okay, so here's what we do. We do this guy, push it in, and then we check the voltage. It says 28 still, and then we push it out like that, and we're good to go. So we did the test already. AFCS control unit set. What is AFCS? I'm not doing good with my acronyms right now. Takeoff data, outside air temperature, ATR. Oh, did we grab the, we didn't grab the altimeter, did we? Does the altimeter show up on here? That's interesting. If I double click it, I can get the altimeter here. That's kind of a pain. The altimeter is 3020. But it would be nice if it showed up right here, wouldn't it? Either way, for now, it's 3020. So we need to go to our baro knob, which is right here. Boy, that's some high pressure, isn't it? 3020. There we go. 3020. We're set there. Takeoff speeds. I did not set the takeoff speeds yet, did I? That is references, and it should do them automatically. On. I could change what it is. We're not going to dig through all of that. There's a way to do it automatically. What was it? I don't remember. That's alright. We're not going to be rotating at 110 knots, I don't think. I can tell you. No, actually we can. That should be higher though. Let's do, let's rotate at 120. Let's, the VREF should be for landing, not for takeoff. V1, technically V1 would be almost exactly the same, so, and listen, I'm guessing. Everybody knows I'm guessing. If you're mad that I'm guessing, well, sorry. I'm guessing. Oh, we're going to be scrolling all day. V1 is going to be 120. We'll make it 119 just to make it different. How's that? Turn that one on. And then V2 is going to be 135. And I will bet you, if I pull it up, those are actually pretty close. If somebody else has this aircraft, pull it up. Looks like I lost some viewers. We were up to 15 and then they bailed. I guess they didn't want to hang out with me anymore. Sounds like, okay, we're good there. Hey, that's pretty cool that that wheel's not turning. You gotta love those models, huh? Anyway, too bad the guy behind us is probably still there. Okay, we're good on that. Takeoff speeds are set. Transponder needs to be set now, and that's on here as well. If you click at the bottom here, click transponder, and then you just type it in 2336, and then it goes away, and we're good. Transponder is now on. Altimeters are set. Flight controls, check that they're free and correct. And I don't know if there's a flight control thing on here. Declutter systems. There we go. Click on systems, and then we want, that's electric, fuel, ECS, status. Is it status? No, it's not status. LFE. No, that's not what I wanted either. Back. That's, no. Shouldn't it be right here? Let's pull this up so we can actually see. ECS, that's environmental control, electrical systems, fuel system, and ice protection. But it doesn't have anything for... That's kind of weird, huh? Back. Systems again. Yeah, it doesn't have anything for the flight controls. That's kind of weird, don't you think? I mean, flight controls are kind of critical. I would think it would be on this one. We've got plenty of hydraulic pressure. We're good on all of that. Yeah, I don't know why that's not. I don't know why it's not showing the flight controls, but there you go. Flight controls need to be checked. So full left, full right, neutral, full up, full down, neutral, and then rudders full left, full right, and neutral. There's our checks there. Let's see what else we got here. Trims are set, flaps are set, external lights are as required, emergency light switch is armed, we're good on that. And that's going to leave us with the before takeoff checklist. So, even though we kind of in front of your roll pitch, what are you talking about? You thought the PMDG was difficult? In front of my roll pitch, I'm assuming that's a reference to this, but I don't see what you're referring to. Oh, you're referring to this? Right here? It's not showing anything though. That's the trims. See? Trim. Okay. Okay, so the idea here was what though? The idea was to go through all the startup procedures and stuff and then go back to the checklist. And maybe didn't go as smoothly as I'd liked. It probably would have gone smoother in the PMDG 737, but yeah, there's sometimes there's just weird little quirks to these things, but I gotta, like I said before, I do not like their G1000. I gotta sneeze. It's coming. Oh yeah, that's much better. Alright, enough is enough. Park and brake off. And track IR. Oh, I didn't even start my track IR, did I? It's because I restarted my computer. Track IR. There we go. Alright. Let's pull out. At least we don't have to worry about hitting the metro liner over there anymore, right? Let's move that up out of the way. Come on, you old beast. Let's go. Now it's rolling. Use a little asymmetric thrust here. Extra on the left engine. You don't get a lot of asymmetric thrust out of this. Our wing's gonna hit that. There's no two ways about it. There's no way we can avoid it. I'll bet that other ugly airplane's still there though. Pretend that thing's not there, guys. Alright. Is it still there? Yeah. We were pretty much backed up right into it. Boy, that thing jumps around quick when I look around, doesn't it? Really quick. Goodness gracious. Alright, as we're rolling up here, that's the runway, but are we further down than I thought? Let's look here. Maybe we're all the way down here because it looks like the edge of the runway is right here, so maybe we're in this area here? I don't know. Let's have a look-see here. We'll just stop here for a second, turn track IR off. You see what a pain this can be sometimes? Oh, why does it keep going to that view? Oh no, it's down there a ways. It's just where we're sitting. It's so funny. Now this is a road, not a taxiway. There's that metro liner, so we need to go out over here and then hang a right. So I had it right, didn't I? Pretty sure I did. Yeah, I said we're right here. Yep, I was correct. So out over here, hang a right. I should have just paid attention to my charts. Anyway. Okay, let's get rolling. Did the sound just get kind of weird, like quiet? Alrighty. Alright, let me taxi out here for a second and then I'll take a look and see if there's any comments worth addressing over there. Not to say that you guys don't have quality comments at all times. Come on, keep rolling. Remember, it does take a little extra thrust here too because we're at over 5,000 feet. 5,440 feet to be almost precise. Is that Metroliner gone yet? Man, did he get in the air that quick? He wasn't playing around, was he? Nah, he's still got to be over there. Nice thing is it's not a very big aircraft, so we can kind of cut around here. You know what I like? See this right here? The lights blinking? That tells you that there's an aircraft on the runway, so clearly they got that right. Unless they just blink all the time. I think he's still over there. Get him. Wait, this bird's moving slow, huh? What was it we're supposed to do? Taxi a V1? We're not taxiing a V1, guys. Alright, straighten it out. I can't tell if he's still on there or not. I think he's gone already. Well, he wasn't playing around, was he? I hate to say it, but those models are not very well done. That's kind of a shame. Okay, let me turn track IR off for a second. Flight controls didn't show on my other tutorial of the Carenado. Thank you for the bless you. I don't think it was on the checklist. I followed the checklist. Man, I followed the checklist to the letter on that tutorial. Okay, let's hope this stays straight for a second. Normally we do a departure briefing here. Okay, back over there. And this would be our departure. And we'd be going out here to Zimmer, and then out to RLG, and then to EKR, and so on. But obviously we're not going to be doing that in this case because, hey, we got to fly direct because this thing does not want to take a proper flight plan, which is really obnoxious, by the way. So, it is what it is. We'll just have to deal with it. Informative, entertaining, and comic. Who could ask for more? Yep, you know what? That's right. I'm the full package. I've got everything. And look at me. I'm pretty. I'm just kidding. Maybe. Alright. Should we use the whole runway? We might as well use the whole runway. What do you guys think of the track IR hat? Pretty cool, right? I need to get one that goes like on the side here, but I guess everybody who's gotten those says they're like 50 bucks or something, but they say they break really easy. And I do take my headset on and off quite a bit. And I'd rather not spend 50 bucks on something that's going to break. And this cheap little piece of metal has lasted me like, oh god, I've had this Trek IR for a few years. My wife got it for me for it was either birthday or Christmas present. I don't remember which, but either way, she got it for me. And here it is. I like Trek IR. I didn't like it at first. But honestly, I think the main reason I didn't like it when I first got it is because the system that I had was not very good. In fact, it was crap, is what it was. And so I had to have everything tuned way down. I couldn't have an add-on like this. Like I couldn't have Flight Beam KDEN Denver on here because it would destroy my frame rate. I mean, absolutely destroy them. I mean, as it sits right now, I'm getting 30 frames a second taxiing out here. So, and that's with track IR on. So that's good. But it's FSX too, so sometimes the frame rates will just drop into the toilet. We're gonna do this intersection right here. I'm not taxiing all the way to the end of this thing. I mean, we're taxiing slow anyway, but where's our ground speed at on this thing? 7 knots. I can run that fast. I can jog that fast. That's all right. We're gonna do an intersection departure here at intersection Echo Alpha. Now those lights are still blinking. And he's not, I don't see him on the runway anymore, so, and I don't see an aircraft on approach, And I've got my, I think I've mentioned this before, I've got my AI traffic turned way down. And the reason I've got it turned way down is really quite simple. Those little add-ons that I have, they're free, that help control the AI traffic. They're not doing their job right. One of them's not doing his job right, and the other one keeps crashing my sim. And I'd rather not have my sim crash. So I always enjoy pulling up to the runway in Flightbeam's scenery. I mean, you look at this is what it looks like in the real world. I mean, maybe the color scheme's a little bit off. It's probably a little more faded and dirty and stuff like that. But you know, FSX default, you don't pull up to, you don't have your runway numbers and stuff on there, and that's actually how they do it in the real world. It's great big red. You know, there's the idea is that you cannot be in doubt that you're about to enter a runway and which runway you're about to enter. So, and obviously we're taking 3-5 left. So let's do our before takeoff checklist. Takeoff configuration needs to be checked. That is a little button that is hiding on this one. It's actually right here behind the parking brake. Now, if the parking brake is on, not only can I not hit the button, but it's going to tell me takeoff's not okay.
No takeoff. Brake.
See? Now turn it off.
Takeoff. Okay.
Okay, we're good for the takeoff. All right, let's see. No messages. We're good on that. Signs, outlet switch, PED belts off. I don't even really know what that means. I mean, this is what it's talking about. I guess right there. Is that where belts on? It should be belts on, not off. Yaw damper needs to be off, which it is. I just turned it on, by the way. Yeah, I know, yaw damper's off. It's supposed to be. What else? Passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, in the back of the airplane, we're about to take off. Hold on to your hats. Okay, there. Passengers have been advised. Lights, we need the landing lights to come on. Left click it, and we're good to go there. We don't need anything else. Those are all good. And then that's it. Thrust assurance check, whatever that is. I guess that's. It says as required, so I'm guessing that's where you run the thrust up a little bit in a static position, like you would in a small air, like a small Cessna. You do what's called a run up, and that's just to make sure everything's working right. So we're good to go. Track IR on. You guys ready for let's turn that off for a second. You guys ready for takeoff? What's your opinion on Oculus Rift? Are you asking me, World Cruiser, my opinion on Oculus Rift? My opinion on Oculus Rift is that it's like $800. So if you guys look down below there, you'll see a donate button through PayPal. Click on that, and then if I get enough donations, I'll be more than happy to pick. I'd love to pick up an Oculus Rift, but at $800, I just don't have the money right now. So, Victor, hello, how are you? I'm going to take the yes as my question on the Oculus Rift, but nobody's answered me whether or not you're ready to take off yet, so we'll just sit here. I'm just kidding. We're going to take off in a second anyway. Seriously though, Oculus Rift would be awesome. I have a friend who has it. He says he loves it, and he says, yeah, you better get one, you better get one. Well, again, it's a lot of money. Even if it was like $200, it's a lot of money. So, you know, I don't usually say anything about the donate button down there. I've had people donate aircraft to me. Shaker has been a huge, what's the word, benefactor? No, I'm the benefactor, I think. Shaker's donated a few things to me, and I just couldn't thank him enough for that. It's very generous. So, but yeah, you know, if you guys are interested, or if there's certain things you want to see or something like that, you can always click on that donate button down there and, you know, let me know. Be sure to put your name in there. I'll be happy to announce who it was that donated. I haven't ever received any donations through PayPal or anything like that, but I have received some donations, including the aircraft that I just did that tutorial on was a donation. So anyway, probably sounds like I'm mooching now, huh? Am I mooching? The people that I work with say that I have resting serial killer face. You guys tell me, do I have resting serial killer face? Oh, come on, plane, move faster. It's time to get going. We can kind of see that we're clear over there. I'll tell you what, though, this plane would be fun to fly in the real world, wouldn't it? I need to, like, move my my other computer over here so that I can see comments without, like, because I have to see the comments, I have to do this. Perhaps not resting. I don't have resting serial, I just have serial killer face, huh? Thanks for that. Alright, we're going to do a rolling takeoff here. Let's do this. Throttle up. And let's see if I can keep it near the middle of the runway. So other than the issues with the G1000 on this thing, I like this airplane. It's a little rocket ship, man. This thing is fun to fly. It can be a bit of a pain to land because it lands at a very slow speed. But, hold on, we're coming up on V1 here. V1 and V rotate, up and away. Look, I guessed right. Look at this sucker just climbs, man. It is climbing. We can bring flaps up already. Let's trim that nose down just a little bit. 15 degrees nose up should be more than enough, huh? It's a fun little airplane to fly, but it can be a little bit difficult to land because it lands at such a slow speed that the nose tends to be very high when you land. So you literally, if you don't have track IR, it's very hard. It's even harder, but you kind of got to do this when you're landing so that you can actually see where you're going. I mean, look at this. We're climbing at 5,500, still going up. You know, I mean, we are absolutely skyrocketing on this thing. So I'm just going to let it climb out here for a second. Let me turn track IR off so that we can do what we need to do here. So we're coming up on 10,000 really quick. And again, it keeps climbing. I mean, we were up to 25 degrees nose up there. Okay, right click twice to turn those off. Okay, let's go ahead and let's introduce the autopilot at this point. So we're going to want the nav function on. Right now it says VOR. Well, maybe we got to have autopilot on for it to switch over here. So let's turn the autopilot on, the yaw damper on. Come on, yaw damper. It doesn't even want to do the yaw damper. And yeah, so I'm messing something up. Oh, do not nosedive on me. Flight level change mode is on, 220 knots. Why is it nosediving here? Come on. Go ahead, keep nosediving. Yeah, how about that? As soon as I hit autopilot, it just went into a nosedive just on its own program. Now it's going to absolutely go ballistic climbing, and it's going to overshoot 220 knots. We'll see. Let's see if it settles here. It looks like maybe it's going to settle. Okay, so we need to change this thing. Right now, you can see it's set to GPS 1, but when I hit the nav switch, it goes VOR. Right, so hit the CDI here. There's VOR 1. Hit it again, VOR 2, and then GPS. And now it's navigating via the GPS, so it's going to swing around and follow this line here. And that's how you have to do it. And it's weird because you can see it was on GPS already. So why didn't it just automatically start following that? I don't know. You got to cycle through them in order for it to follow. So. Let's see, it's got altitude select is armed. Boy, we're getting some bumps here, huh? Look at those clouds, though. Watch what this does when you go into these clouds. The fade in is astounding. It is really awesome. They did it right on this. If we ever go into them. Goodness gracious. This thing's struggling around this tight turn here, isn't it? It's fighting the turbulence. We're not quite in the clouds yet. When we go into the clouds, it should just like fade in. It's really wild how it does it. They did a fantastic job on it. But this thing's struggling to me. I've flown a little Cessna, and making a 30-degree turn like that can be a real pain in the butt, let me tell you. How long have we been at this here? Oh man, hour and a half already. An hour and a half just to get off the ground. You see how it just kind of faded through that cloud though? That was pretty darn cool, and it didn't jump like it usually does. I look fancy, Victor? I don't know about fancy, but thanks. It's the t-shirt, right? There we are, 20,000 feet leveled off. Good, fantastic. Now we're going to have to roll those throttles back before we overspeed. Roll those throttles way back. Let's bring that speed back down a little. I want to keep it probably right around 300 knots. Woo! I would not want to be riding on this airplane right now. This sucker's getting tossed around, isn't it? Here, let's try something. This will be fun. Let me bring up my Easy Dock. It's got the random turned on. Okay. Yeah, okay, so the random's already turned on, so it's making it look a little bouncier. A little more throttle in there. Oh man, those are some tough turbulence there, huh? Look at that. I would not want to be on this airplane right now, man. Even as the pilot, I'd be like, this sucks. This would be terrible. It'd be like one of the worst flights ever. Yeah, it's definitely the t-shirt, man. Nice black, this is a scuba diving t-shirt actually. I used to do a lot of scuba diving when I lived in Japan. So oh man, look at this thing get tossed around. What do you guys think of that, huh? Okay, so we don't have a long time at cruise. Let's see here. It gives us estimated time en route is only like 15 minutes and we'll have to start descending, but man, whew, I'll tell you what, this is a bumpy ride, huh? That being said, so now will be the official, what did we call it last time? The Talk to Mac? Yeah, Talk to Mac section. Yeah, it's definitely hard to maintain the speed with this turbulence World Cruiser. I mean, it is just going bonkers here. Let's watch when it goes through the cloud again here, though, coming up. It's really cool. I want to see if it does it. We didn't really get much of that last cloud, but you just sort of fade in and fade out of the clouds, and that's something they really got right with this one. A little chop there with the color scheme changing, but let's see. So we should be in the cloud now, right? See that? See how it just kind of fades through it, the different colors and stuff, like you would in a real cloud. Look at that. See it? See how you can kind of see? That's just awesome, man. That's the way it's supposed to be. My wife makes fun of me because I love the cloud. I'm all about the clouds. Clouds really add to the realism. Man, this sucker's just getting worked over, though. Whew, I would not be having fun on this flight right now. My PC specs. I have a graphics activation. Now, I need to look at this thing. Here, let's pop this up, because that little notification pops up, but then it just doesn't go away. But I don't see a setting. Here we go, settings. Duh. Past settings, restore, add simulator. It doesn't give me an option to make that go away. And the reason I bring that up is because I always have to right click it and close it, or maybe it just stays there for a long time and then goes away. I never really waited. So let's give it just a skosh more throttle here. My PC specs. I have a Asus motherboard. I don't remember which one. I've got an i7 4790 processor with a GTX 980 graphics card. That's the long and short of it. Do I have the Aerosoft Airbus? Yes, I do have the Aerosoft Airbus. The reason that you haven't seen me fly it yet is when I fly for Phoenix Virtual Airways, for those of you who've been following the Life of a Virtual Airline Pilot series, you know that I'm working my way up through the ranks, right? So I can't fly it right now because I'm not qualified to fly it. You're welcome, by the way, Victor. I'm not qualified to fly it as far as PVA is concerned, Phoenix Virtual Airways. And then I started flying for National Virtual Cargo, and that's just, now I could fly it for them because you can actually fly any aircraft you want for National. But technically, if you're flying for National, they really only have 2 aircraft in their fleet. They've got a 757 and a 747. Those are the only aircraft in National's fleet. So when I fly for National, for the most part, I stick with those aircraft. I recently started doing some flying with Mirage Executive Charters, but I don't do any videos for those. What I'm trying to do actually is I'm working my way up. When I hit first officer, I'm sorry, not first officer, when I hit captain for Phoenix Virtual Airways, I'll be able to fly the PMDG 737, all of the Airbus aircraft, and a whole slew of other aircraft. And so that'll open a bunch of things up. And we got about 20 hours, 20-something hours to go before we get that promotion to captain. And then when we go from captain to I think chief captain or something like that, then we can add in the 757 and so on. So the reason that I haven't flown the Aerosoft Airbus is because I technically am not allowed to yet based on the requirements for PVA. And so I want to try and kind of stick to that as much as I can. Flying for National Cargo gives us an opportunity to see some of the larger aircraft early on, much earlier. And I will be flying the 757 on there. in the not too distant future, hopefully. But overall, sorry, I was a little mesmerized by the different colors of the clouds here. It just looks much more realistic, doesn't it? With the shading on this set, but not on the next set. We're getting close to captain in the life of a virtual airline pilot. And so what I want to do is I really want to push on ahead and get that captain's promotion, and that's going to open up a lot of aircraft for us. And you guys have noticed for quite some time now I've been doing a vote. So rather than let me turn the volume up on this a notch. Rather than just choosing a flight, I've been giving a couple options for a flight and allowing you guys to choose which flight we're going to do. So when we hit captain and it opens up a bunch of other aircraft, that's going to allow us to have a lot more choices available as far as what the next flight we're going to do is. And it's also going to allow us to get in some much longer flights, take us across the pond and so on, so that we can get into get into Europe and some other places like that. So JetBlue, yes, it is the Phenom 300. So it's a decent airplane. I don't know if you caught the beginning here. A little turbulence. Are you kidding me? That's a lot of turbulence, man. The G1000 in this thing sucks bad, like really, really, really bad. So, but other than that, it's actually a really cool aircraft and a lot of fun to fly. So, oh, let's see. We never did our after takeoff or climb checklist, did we? Let's go ahead and do that real quick because I got busy talking. Landing gear was up, flaps are up, thrust levers are set to the climb mode. And just so you know, you can look down here. So you've got max cruise. That's where we're at right now. You've got CON climb, whatever that means, takeoff, go around mode, and then max thrust. So yeah, you just kind of move them until they settle into where you want them, and you're good to go on that. Altimeters. We didn't change them when we crossed over, so let's click on this guy here. That puts us at 299.2. It should climb up a little bit, get us back to 20,000. See what happens when I get to talking? We got some rain out here as well, and so what I want to look at right now is I want to look at our outside air temperature, which should be on this screen. Where is it? Come on, air temperature. Is it not on this one? Oh, it's over here. I'm an idiot. Okay, so our outside air temperature right now is minus 11 degrees. So with visible water, which seems to have disappeared now, and minus 11 degrees, oh there it is, now you can see it. With visible water and the temperature being what it is, we definitely want to make sure that we've got our anti-ice on. So let's turn our engine anti-ice on, and wrong way, that one goes on, and that's it. That's our anti-ice. So I guess there's no wing anti-ice on this. You can barely make out the wings out there. I don't see any wing anti-ice on here, which is kind of weird. Let's zoom into this a little bit, see what it says. That's the probes. Yeah, just the windshield and engine. Well, we've got this guy on. I mean, this is the, I guess wing stab means wings and stabilator. I guess that's what it means. This is the stabilator, in case you're wondering. That's what it's called, a stabilator. Boy, that sucker's getting rocked around, isn't he? So that's wing stab is probably wings and stabilator. What else we got? External lights as required. Those are good. We did turn the landing lights off, so I remembered something. Weather radar if installed. The weather does not work on this thing. I'm trying to find it here. I tried it before and it didn't work, so I gave up on it and I don't even remember where it's at now. PFD. You can change your wind the way your wind shows up. I like option 3. So there's our wind. We got a crosswind and a headwind. And go back there, but it doesn't show weather. Maybe weather's supposed to be on this one. Map. Topo, terrain, airways. Nope, it's not on that one either. We can turn the traffic on, and that'll tell us that there's traffic in the area, but that's about it. So yeah, I don't remember where the weather is, to be honest. But I do know it doesn't work anyway, so we can sit here and fart around all day and try to find it, but it's not going to work. And we're getting our butts kicked by the weather as it is. Now, the weather radar that comes with Active Sky 2016, once I figure out the best way to go about the install on that, then we can pop that up and it should show us the weather. So, but like I said at the beginning of the stream, I haven't installed that yet because it's it gives you the option to either choose which aircraft you install it in, or to just install it for all of them, but I don't know if it'll mess with my PMDG aircraft and stuff, and so I was waiting to hear back from somebody on that and then make a decision from there. So there you have it. It does have wing anti-ice, JetBlue. I'm pretty sure the wing stab, that's what it's actually referring to as both. Plummets to the ground due to icing. Well, I'm glad you cracked me up too. That's pretty funny. How far out are we here? Let's see. Should give us a distance on here as well. It gives us time, 6 minutes. So we're going to get there quickly. 39 miles. Yeah, we better slow way down here. And we're going to start descending. But we're only going to descend to 12,000 for the moment. Alright, and then we're going to use... I guarantee VNAV won't... It doesn't work at all anyway. So let's use vertical speed mode. Come on. There we go. It's supposed to show up on here somewhere. It tells us what we've actually set it at, but I don't see it popping up over here. Oh, there it is. Vertical speed, 700 feet per minute. Okay. And that should be good for the moment. We're going to have to descend much quicker here pretty soon, but we're getting rocked around anyway. You can see it doesn't take very long. Let's go a little quicker down here. 1,000 feet per minute. We'll do that for the moment. Let's pull the throttles back just a little bit. So let's understand how this works, guys. Okay. If I slow down, and I mentioned this somewhere else before, but if I slow down, the horizontal distance that I cover as I'm descending is less, right? So even though I don't increase my rate of descent, I can get down technically quicker because I get down at an earlier point by slowing down. So that's why you want to pull the throttles back a little bit. If you don't want to nosedive towards the ground when you need to descend quickly, the first thing you want to do is slow the aircraft down. The slower you're covering distance across the ground, the sooner, according to that distance, you'll get down. So if I want to be at 12,000 by the time I get over the top of these mountains, okay, and I don't want to put my descent rate at 6,000 feet per minute, which, it's bad enough that we're getting bounced around like friggin' maniacs inside this aircraft in these turbulence, but if I descend that fast, those poor folks in the back are going to either have a heart attack or puke all over the place, and we're going to have to clean it up. We don't want to do that. So what we do is we slow down our horizontal travel speed so that at 1,000 feet per minute, it takes us more minutes to get to that point than it would otherwise. I hope that makes sense, or maybe I just confused the crap out of everybody. Who knows? Who would have thought we'd still be waiting for the CRJ? This guy. I gave up on that thing a long time ago. It was ridiculous. They're never gonna release that thing. I have two really good friends who fly CRJs for a living, and one of them's a captain, one's a first officer, and they're both willing to come sit in here with me and go through a full line of procedures, of real-world procedures with that CRJ whenever they put it out. And since they haven't put it out yet, but I can tell you part of the reason it's taking so long, they've only got one guy working on it. There's one guy working on that airplane. Well, I got news for you. When it's something that complex, yeah, that's going to take some time. So, JetBlue, I'm glad you're enjoying this type of stream. I don't know what's specific about it that you're enjoying, other than the fact that I look like I'm about to have an accident here. We're coming up on this airport pretty quick. I need to slow way down and increase my rate of descent here. Okay, so what we're actually going to do here, I'm going to click the heading mode button, and just by clicking it, it puts it in the center there. We're going to switch to heading mode, and we're actually going to follow this valley off to the right a little bit. Okay, just a little bit. We're going to follow up over here. We're only going to 12,000 feet, and then I'm going to swing around, and you'll see there's a river over here that we're going to follow. You can't really see it on here, unfortunately. Where's the rays? Let's zoom down a little bit. It's not really showing up very well on here, but there's a little river there. You may remember. Let's pull up the chart here. This is what we're looking for right here. We're out over here right now. We're going to come way out around here. We could put in red table. Let's see if we can actually tune a frequency here. Let's see. So let's switch to nav 1 if it'll let me. No, it won't. Okay, what's the frequency on that? I should have looked, right? 113.0. So let's go to, come on, 113.0, switch them on nav 2, and then There we go. There's nav 1. Come on. Boy, it's hard to do in these turbulence, huh? Okay, switch those. So we got 113.0 dialed in. So if I switch this to nav 1 or nav 2, you can hear it beeping now. Okay. And then I rotate my course knob until this line centers up, and I've shown this to you guys before. Rotate my course knob until the crossbar there is center, which it's going to have to go all the way to the other side. Whoops. Okay, that is my course. Now if I follow that heading, that'll take me directly to this guy, DBL. Okay, so if we go there, we can see 12,000 is going to be cutting it really close to the mountains, right? So let's go ahead and let's get rid of our descent here altogether for the moment. Keep it at 300 feet per minute. Okay, so if you look at this, and I'll shrink it down so we can see a little bit of what's going on in the background here. Okay, 12,037 feet is the highest point on this mountain range here, and DBL's right over the top of it. And you can see we're just a little left of it right now. So move that out of the way for a second. Change my heading. I know it goes quiet when I do that, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to come over here and intercept this line. But by doing this, what I've done by tuning that in is now I know where that VOR is, right? So when I look at my chart here, I get to that VOR, and then I can follow this route right here, or we can just come straight over it, find this riverbed, which is really what I prefer to do, is find this riverbed and then follow that down in for our approach there. So that's what we're actually going to do. We should be coming from right over here generally. So what we're going to be looking for is this riverbed here, and we're going to try and fly the visual approach like that. Is that making sense to everybody? Oh, look at that. DBL just popped up right there on the screen. There's DBL. Excuse me. So you can see, again, we went a little too far to the left is what we did because I was busy talking. But rotate it back and just a little bit, and the closer we get, the more this thing will move. Alright, so we've got it on here now. We've got a general idea where it's at. We know that our airport is over here. Okay, and if we look out the window, we can see the valleys in here, right? Okay, DBL is going to be up over here. We're going to cross over it, and then we're going to find that river valley right over here. So, cross over it, find that river valley there. My phone making noise over here? Oh yeah, that's a comment on YouTube. Cool. Alright, so that gives you a general idea how that works. And as you can see, it's still showing us substantially to the left, but we're actually going to come pretty close to crossing right over it. I do wish that I could turn the sound off on that. Ah, there we go. Scroll it down. I don't want to hear it anymore. Now we need to switch it. Okay, click it. No, click this one to switch it, and turn the volume down on that one so we don't have to listen to it. Why does that say? Oh no, that's. So this is the one we're on right here, obviously. Okay, so we're crossing over right now. You see that the thing moved over here. Okay, and you can see here's our valley right up here, right? Okay, so let's begin descending some more. Okay. Alright, so we definitely need to make a turn here. I guess we're not going to see the river very well, but we can just make out right here. We're just using this, we're doing this the cheater's way because I didn't plan very well. But as you can see, the little magenta lines there, that's the airspace for Aspen. Alright. So I'm just looking for my river valley, which I'm not really seeing, which is a shame, but should be right up here actually. So we need to get down to 10,000 feet, increase our rate of descent, slow our speed down. What do we got over here? Regret the Taco Bell, huh? Tums for heartburn, not its brown cousin. That's disgusting. I already read it. Regret the Taco Bell. Okay, there's the river we're looking for right there. Alright, F9, turn that on, and we're turning and we still got the stinking noise from that. So let me switch those so I don't have to listen to it anymore, and let me turn the autopilot off. Autopilot off. So you see our river valley down there? That's what we were looking for. That's where we're going. That's for our visual. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to follow that river. And you see all this on the mountainside here? That's all the ski slopes for Aspen, right? So we're actually much higher than we need to be. This is the airport right over here. So we need to get down quickly, and that's fine. I'm pulling the throttles way back, descending at a quick rate. That's fine. I don't care if the passengers in the back are screaming. They'll be all right. And we're going to follow this river in, and we're going to put her down on the, well, we're going to try and put her down on the numbers anyway.
Sink rate.
Sink rate. Oh man, I messed it up bad, guys. Okay, throttle all the way back. Oh, by the way, I was a little off. It's not this. There is a runway here, I think, but this is our airport here. All right. We can bring in the first flap setting at this speed, and that's going to help to slow us down a little bit. Okay. And that's what I want. Remember, the less horizontal distance I cover, the quicker I can actually get down without having to make a substantial increase in my descent rate. So I'm going to bring in another flap setting, and I'm using the flaps not only for my descent or planning for my approach, but they're helping me to slow down. See? And we need to slow way down. There's the gear coming out because we're way too high.
Check gear.
Yeah, gear's
Check
coming down.
gear.
Be quiet. I just brought in the flaps before the gear was all the way down. Okay, so you see we're descending at almost 2,000 feet per minute, but we're still slowing down, and that's what we want. Okay, let's bring in full flaps now, because we're going to be landing. Well, we're going to try and land. Boy, I really messed that one up bad, didn't I, guys? I was too busy bumping my gums. Should we do a side slip? You don't care if they're screaming. You're quoting me? Oh my goodness. Okay, let's get that speed down a little more. Oh yeah, we're looking good now. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, how are we looking good? We're like friggin' 3,000 feet too high. No, we're good. Trust me. We're going to make this runway. Just a little FYI, guys, because most of you know that I do have a pilot's license in the real world. I am always high on approach in the real world and in the sim, but I don't think we're going to make this runway, to be honest with you. Let's side slip it. Oh. Side slip is a technique which allows you to lose altitude quickly, but it's not recommended. So what I have, full right rudder in here, and I'm using the ailerons to keep it from going that direction, and you can see my altitude's dropping relatively quick. And I'm not really gaining any speed while I'm doing it. So that's a side slip, and it's not easy to do in the real world. I think it's harder to do in the sim. We're actually almost on glide slope now. Watch this. Now we're going to come out of the side slip, let the rudders out gently, and look at that, right on the glide slope. Bring in the throttles so that we don't
400.
stall.
300. 200.
Oh, them skills right there, boys.
100.
$100 is the last call out on this aircraft. Alright, we're going to float a little bit, but that's alright. A little bit of left rudder, and we're down. Just like that. Throw in some reverse. If it has reverse, I don't think it does. Oh yeah, it does. No, it doesn't. No reverse. Just brakes. Still, that was pretty good, right? You guys like that side slip? That's skills right there. That's pure skills. Alright. We never even turned landing lights on, did we? Nope, we didn't. Nope. Believe it or not, for VFR, landing lights aren't required. Unless there's low visibility. And as you can see, this is a nicely done airport. It was free, didn't cost a penny. I like free. Free is good. All right, what do you guys think of that landing, huh? Side slip to a smooth. It was a pretty smooth landing too. I don't have a landing rate calculator or anything. Didn't tell us how hard the landing was, but I'd say it was pretty soft. I'm impressed with myself. Who's impressed? I'll check in a second here. You tell me if you're impressed with my mad skills. If that doesn't earn me some followers, nothing will, right? Alright, let me turn track IR off here. Anybody impressed by that? Well done. Hey, I got some claps there. Fantastic. Thank you. Can I fly from KASE to SFO? You talking for the next flight, Parker? Is that what you're asking? You're talking next time I do a live stream? Clap ands, you mean hands. Claps and wipes off remaining food from clothes from turbulence. You know the passengers in the back are going, thank God we're on the ground, especially after that side slip. If you've ever been in an aircraft that did a side slip, they don't typically do it in commercial aviation. That's not something they do very often. But you do have to learn it when you do your flight training, and it's a trip. It's a trip doing a side slip. It really is, and it is not easy to get a smooth landing when you do it. So it's harder in the sim because you don't have the feel. It's all visual only. That's one of the problems with flight simulators. YAG? What's YAG? Is that supposed to be yes? I think that was supposed to be yes. I'll tell you what, Parker, go to my YouTube channel and go to my email address is on there. I forget where you got to go to find it, but somebody on here can tell you because a few of them have emailed me. And send me an email requesting that as one of the options for the next flight, and I will take a look. Now you want to go from KASE, so that's a pretty long flight. So I'll have to take a look. This aircraft should certainly have the range. Did I pull in too soon? I probably did. This is going to be where that -8 is, right? No, we're good here. I'll have to take a look at the range and decide which aircraft to choose as an option, but that's a pretty long flight, so I don't have a problem with that by any means. If you guys are interested in it, I'll put it up there as a vote. But what I need you to do, Parker, is send me an email requesting it, because I'm going to be honest with you, if you don't, I'm going to forget. So send me an email with that request, and then if you have an aircraft you'd like to see it flown in, go ahead and include that in the email, and I'll take a look, and then I can certainly put that up as one of the options to vote on. Now I can tell you this, the next Life of a Virtual Airline Pilot video, one of the options to vote for on that one was, excuse me, a flight to San Francisco, and that one seems to have absolutely been the what's the word I'm looking for here? That's the one almost everybody chose. Everybody pretty much wants to do that flight to San Francisco. So that being said, you may not get as many votes for that on the next live stream, since by then we'll have already seen a flight into San Francisco. But I'm just saying. Now, I do not have Flight Beam San Francisco, and I've already made it pretty clear. Everybody pretty much knows I don't really have any money. All my money's been spent. So, you know, if you guys want to see a flight to San Francisco and you want to see it on Flight Beam, somebody's going to have to, you know, if you guys want to pitch in, join together, maybe donate some funds for that or something, that's great. Not trying to mooch off of people here. I'm just saying, you know, I know people may want to see that, and I just want to be honest up front. I don't have the money for it, so something to think about if that's something you guys are interested in. There you go. But send the email, and I'll be more than happy to put it up there as an option. Did I blather my way through that well enough? I'm trying to look at the comments over here. You were a passenger on side slip landings in 767s? Wow. What's wrong with my white taxi line? Seems legit. Actually, I think it's probably not a taxi line. I think it's a Captain Max special. I go where I want to go. Oh, a little too much throttle there. I wanted to park over here next to the Gulf Stream. So side note, as we're getting ready to shut everything down here, I have recently started discovering the very exciting world of DCS. And if you don't know what DCS is, go ahead and throw it in the comments and say I don't know what DCS is, and we'll explain it. But it should be, I should probably put the flaps up, huh? Should be enough to know that DCS is a combat flight simulator, and I'd be more than happy to give more details if you're interested in them. Let's go ahead and shut down our engines here. Shut down one. Let's go to GPU. Shut down the other engine. We turned the GPU on, but it turned everything off anyway. Oh, now it's back on. That was interesting.
Terrain system test okay.
HTOS test okay.
Okay, glad the tests are okay. Alright, so we're just sitting on GPU now. That's fine. Let's open the door up there. And then, whoop, there she is. That's actually a really cool view. It's just kind of a pain when you just jump right into that view, isn't it? I don't see anybody. Don't look at me. Look, he's giving us, he gave me the stink eye there. You see that? That was just rude. Anyway, DCS world. So I gotta tell you, man, you know, spending time with like PMDG aircraft and stuff like that and the complexity, you know, you get to really enjoy that. And then you get into something like DCS world, and I'm gonna tell you right now, holy cow. Even the aircraft that don't have clickable cockpits in them are just absolutely ridiculously complex to learn. Like, I started flying around in an A-10 and I've been shot down so many times. But anyway, I found a group on there that I'm looking to maybe fly with, doing some F-18 missions and stuff like that, which I think would be a lot of fun. But I was curious if anybody on here would be interested sometime in the future, not anytime necessarily soon because I got a lot to learn on it, but if you guys would be interested in seeing some live streams or some videos on YouTube of DCS World. Now, I will tell you this. When I get some time and when I can afford to get, you know, to buy aircraft that actually cost quite a bit of money through them, or they have a good sale or something, you know, like the A-10C, that's a fully clickable cockpit. You can do all the procedures, the whole 9 yards. I am definitely going to do some tutorials, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I have not been able to find a decent tutorial on DCS World aircraft. They all suck. They're terrible. They're absolutely terrible. I found one or two that were decent regarding the radar, but they still didn't give me the answers I was looking for. So I'm definitely going to do some tutorials on those eventually. But if you guys would be interested in seeing some live streams of those or some videos of DCS World stuff, let me know. And if I ever get to the point where I don't get shot down constantly, then I would absolutely love to do some of those. See, this thing stays up there forever, doesn't it? I don't know if it goes away or what, but I keep closing it out. So Priuses must die. Don't run over my Prius. This is the one stream that is extremely quotable. I'm always high on approach. You can't quote me like that and say that. Come on now, you're twisting my words here. I'm always high on approach. Yes, indeed. There was another one before that, right? The landing's going to feel amazing compared to the turbulence. I don't care if they're screaming Captain Mac 2016. You definitely should quote that one. I'm going to have to put that in a video somewhere. He didn't like my side slip, huh? Well, I'm sorry. At least you're safely on the ground, right? I've been shot down so many times. Extremely reassuring. I guess I do put quite a bit of good material out there, don't I? You have a good night too, brother. Thanks for coming. I'm about to sign off here anyway. The link to my YouTube, actually, I don't know if you're in full screen mode right now, Parker, but if you go down below the screen there, you will see welcome to my channel, donations through PayPal, and YouTube link. And just click on the picture where it says YouTube link, and it'll take you right to my YouTube page. And do me a favor, be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because as anybody who is subscribed to my channel knows, I really do appreciate that. So, Triple Crown winner, you are certainly welcome for the stream. Thank you for joining us, and I thank all of you for joining us. We had up to 17 at one point, 13 at this point, and I'm really grateful for all of you guys taking the time to come in here and fly with me. This was not, procedure-wise, this was not necessarily a realistic flight, if you will, but it was still a lot of fun and I enjoyed it. So I hope that you guys did too. JetBlue 711, good night. Thank you again for joining me. And I'm going to be signing off here in just a minute, guys. So if you haven't had an opportunity yet, hop on over to my YouTube channel, subscribe there. You can also click the follow button on here. I'm up to 57 already, which is fantastic. I really appreciate that. And JetBlue, make sure you hold on to some of those quotes for me, okay? You can quote them. Just be sure to reference me when you do. So. But yeah, if you guys haven't had the chance, like I said, go over to YouTube, click subscribe really quick, click the follow button on here, and also you can jump on over to Facebook and Twitter, and you can find me on there as well. Thank you all once again for such a good time. Be sure to send me an email for your requests for the next flight, and then I'll decide on 2 of them, and I will put them up for a vote, and be looking for an announcement video, much like the last one that I had up there, that will not only announce the next live stream, but will have the thread for voting in it. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns for me, feel free to send them in an email, but if you whine and complain, I'll just ignore you. Thanks again, guys. You all have a fantastic evening. I'm glad you appreciated the stream. I'm glad your boss enjoyed it, Chick. Tell him to click the follow button and go over to YouTube and subscribe. You guys have a fantastic night. As always, keep the blue side, or in this case, the gray side up, unless otherwise instructed by ATC. Have a fantastic day.